Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. My name is Kirti, and from Team Luneblaze, we have Ms. Priyanka with us to help us know about Luneblaze. We warmly welcome you all to another exciting session organized by Luneblaze, focusing on score self-assessment and CBSE inspection. We are truly delighted to see you all join with this session. Let me introduce you all to Luneblaze. Luneblaze have been dedicatedly involved in accreditation services, working closely with more than 100 schools, ensuring that they maintain and enhance their quality in education. Accreditation is a formal recognition process verifying an educational institution's adherence to established standards, ensuring quality and credibility in education. Mandating accreditation for many schools, the SQAAF framework has been introduced nationwide. Well, Loonblaze is here to be your SQAA implementation partner, supporting schools along their journey educational quality. We at Loonblaze also organize monthly training sessions focused on various domains of SQAA, aiming to provide educators with suggestions for improvement of each and every subdomain and standard of SQAA. We provide opportunities to connect with other educators, providing a platform where your connection with peer educators can enhance your teaching strategies, meeting the evolving needs of students and education, and expert guidance from our esteemed expert speakers who have been outshining in the field of education for years. Um, Now, let me just take a moment to introduce our honorable expert speaker for today's session, Ms. Smriti Khatri. Ms. Smriti Khatri is the co-founder and COO at Luneblaze, a SQAA implementation expert with an experience in accelerating accreditation for over 100 institutions. We are feeling privileged to have Ms. Smriti sharing her deep insights on SCORE, self-assessment, and CBSE inspection with all of us today. In today's session, we'll begin with an introduction to the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, providing a foundational understanding of their importance. Following that, we'll delve into a brief yet insightful recap of the SPOR, covering all the 7 domains in a sequential manner. Next, we'll move on to an overview of the various phases involved in the SCORE process. This will include a detailed exploration of the SCORE self-assessment process, highlighting the essential requirements for its execution. We'll also examine the SCORE report and its significance in the overall process of SCORE. A very important aspect of this session will be our discussion of the extensive documentation required for the SCORE self-assessment process. Those documents needed on the CBSE SCORE portal will ensure that you are aware of all the necessary paperwork and how to manage them effectively. To bring the theory into practice, we'll review a case study demonstrating the entire self-assessment process, emphasizing the crucial role schools play in following this procedure. Following that, we'll have a brief yet interactive Q&A session where Ms. Smriti will share her valuable insights with questions being asked by all of you. Then we'll move on to the concluding segment where we'll recap the key points discussed throughout the session. We'll also go over the critical steps for submitting the SCORE self-assessment as well as the specific documents and evidences that you should be prepared with before submission. And additionally, we'll explore the CPSE inspection process for CBSE circular regarding SCORE, and we'll then move on to discuss how LoonPay supports schools in scoring exams, along with a discussion on the SCORE series of sessions. We'll conclude with another short concluding Q&A session after outlining the entire sequence. I would like to encourage everyone to participate actively and ask questions. Please feel free to utilize the ask a question feature for it. And also in the final Q&A session, the participants posting their questions in the chat box are welcome to interact directly with me to clarify their doubts if they wish to do so. Stay tuned until the end for details regarding the feedback forms and participation certificates. With all that, let's welcome Ms. Smriti Khatri. The session is yours, ma'am. Please take it further.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kirti, for this wonderful welcome. And a very good evening to all my dear audience. I hope you all are doing well and enjoying the chilly winters. So, firstly, please give me a confirmation whether my voice is audible, clear to everyone. Please give me a thumbs up if my voice is clear to all. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. So, like as Kirti very beautifully discussed about the sequence of today's session, so we'll be initiating our day with discussing a little about the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals or the global goals that was established by United Nations in 2015. The 17 goals which are aiming to develop, to cater some of the most common challenges. These challenges are related to social, economical, environmental, climate change, education, and many more things. So, out of those 17 goals, our main focus today will be on the SDG 4, that is the Sustainable Development Goal 4, related to quality education, which is actually imparting many other goals over here. So SDG for quality education is targeting universal access to education at all the levels, be it primary, pre-primary, middle, higher, secondary, at all the levels. They are making sure that the education is accessible to all. It also eliminates the disparities, ensuring that each child has the access to quality education, irrespective of their community, gender, or any sort of gifted students. So to ensure quality education at all these levels, to ensure quality education that students are getting the quality education from our schools and colleges, SDG is also focusing on training the teachers and bringing innovative curriculums into the practices. Next slide, please. So as SDG 4 is focusing on ensuring inclusive, equitable, and quality education for all, they are basically promoting the lifelong opportunities for our dear students. So SQAAF, the School Quality Assessment and Assurance Framework, we all know that it was developed under the National Education Policy 2020, and this SQAAF completely aligns with the vision of SDG 4, quality education. See, we already have many sessions on scope. We did the sessions domain wise. We picked out a one-on-one domain, and then we had a complete brief discussion on these scope. So we won't be taking much time into these discussing the things in detail, but we'll summarize what SCORE is. So SCORE, as we all know, it is a comprehensive framework introduced under NEP 2020 to assess and enhance the overall quality of the schools. It is also aiming to ensure that schools are not only delivering education, but they are focusing on fostering environments that nurture holistic development, inclusivity, and excellence. So focusing on certain key pointers, SCORE is focusing on certain key pointers. They are curriculum delivery, teacher effectiveness, students outcome, governance, leadership, human resource, parents, etc. And they are basically categorized as the domains, subdomains, and standards under SCORE. So, not only this, SQAA is also aiming to build stronger connections between the schools, parents, alumni, community, and all the stakeholders involved, ensuring that education becomes a shared responsibility for all, not only for the school, teachers, and principal. The goal of SQAA is to make sure that education is a shared responsibility for school, parents, alumni, community, and all. So, see, there are many who must be thinking that SQAA is an additional responsibility. SQAA is an additional responsibility because it is increasing their workloads. So, do remember that SQAA is definitely an additional responsibility, but indeed it is a reminder that education is not about imparting knowledge and taking exams. It is about shaping the lives and building future of our dear students. So do remember that taking a step ahead with SQAA is not only transforming your school education, but it is also transforming your dear students. So let's move to the next slide and discuss about the 7 domains of SQAA. So SQAA is basically focusing upon the 7 key domains that cover each and every aspect of school functioning. It ensuring that holistic development for the students and all the stakeholders involved. So one-on-one, we'll discuss in very brief about these domains. So first domain is related to curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. We all know that this is a very big domain having 40% of weightage. Why 40% of weightage? Because it serves as the foundation for student learning and development. This is the main domain. It ensures that all the school, their school is providing a well-rounded curriculum, effective teaching and pedagogy strategies, and a fair assessment practices. The main goal that is to promote holistic learning and ensuring the child achieves full potential. The other 6 domains in the score are basically having the 10% of each. So infrastructure is basically focusing upon creating a safe, functional environment for the students, including in the classrooms, lab, libraries, sports facilities, and other amenities. So the domain 3, that is human resource, it is focusing, when the word human resource comes in our mind, the main focus is, on the teachers or on the employees of our school. But it is not so in this scope. So scope domain 3 human resource is beyond the teachers. It includes all the teaching, non-teaching staff, but it is including the students, parents, alumni, and community also. So this domain ensures that all the stakeholders are engaged, trained, and all are working collaboratively to achieve the school's vision. So moving ahead with the domain 4, that is inclusive practices. So this domain basically promotes equity by ensuring that all the school caters a need for all the students. It includes, students from all the diverse and underprivileged backgrounds. Also includes the gifted students. And the main goal is to, have a supporting and welcoming environment for all. The next domain, management and governance, ensuring that schools are, efficiently and transparent with their policies, and the leaders are accountable for their roles and responsibilities. The domain 6, leadership, it is a very critical role, highlighting the role of our, the school leaders, be it principals, management, and all. And, it fosters innovation among the school practices. The next domain, that is related to beneficiary satisfaction. It is focusing upon understanding and meeting the expectations basically of our stakeholders. Here, the stakeholders we all know are students, parents, community, and all. So, main goal is to make sure that voices of each and every stakeholders involved is being heard, and they have been given, uh, you know, the advantage. So, as we can see over here, all these 7 domains are, further divided into subdomains and the benchmarking statement associated with it. And we already have a very brief discussion about each and every domain respectively. So we'll continue with our session topic, that is on SQAAF self-assessment and the CBSE inspection. So we'll be sticking to this part, and with this, we'll next move to the next slide. That is, knowing about the SQAAF processes. So let's talk about SQAAF processes. So maybe for most of us, we can say that SQAAF is only about doing the self-assessment on the CBSE SQAAF portal. That is, we only have to do the tick mark on this CBSE self-assessment, and we are done with our score. Our school is score ready. But it is not actually. Why? See, CBSE has divided it into the complete score process into 5 stages, into 5 phases. So we'll be discussing them one on one. The phase one, that is planning phase. So this phase will include all those activities which is required for the initial preparedness for the score, and maybe we can start with reviewing our existing practices in the school. So now the question is how this planning phase will be done. So firstly, we have to make sure that all the teachers, all the stakeholders involved in our school are actually well versed about the score, and they must know why is score existing. So now, as we already, the main part of SQAA is to do the self-assessment, and we have to prepare the improvement plans. And this is quite a continuous process. It has to be done every year from April 1st to 31st December within the deadline period. And we have to ensure that whatever we have ticked in the self-assessment, whatever we have submitted as improvement plan, everything is getting implemented into our school systems. But how it will be implemented? We definitely need to have a team. We need to have a team in our school systems who will be making sure that these things are happening. So in the planning phase, the main part is to form the team, the SQAAF team, or you can say the core learning team, CLTs. It is a very important part. So now core learning team, the name also defines most of the things. So would like to know from the audience, what is basically the members who will be involved into the core learning team. I would welcome the answers in the chat section. Who all are the members who can be involved in the core learning team of a school? So please write it in the chat section. Who all members can be a part of core learning team in the school? Anyone? Can anyone please mention? Management, principal, teachers in all level. Yeah. Parents, students, managements, teachers, we. Absolutely. But who all are this we? Do we have to include all the students, parents? Teachers from different levels, yes. Representatives, okay. Management, parents, right. Great, great. So let's see like who all members can be a part of the core learning team. Firstly, a member from the school management is very important in core learning team. Then we need to have the principal involved, vice principals, headmistress. These are the people who have to be in the core learning team. Then we need to have students, teachers, and parents from each level. By each level, I mean pre-primary, primary, middle, secondary. From all these levels, we need to have students, teachers, and parents with us. And we do need to have a teacher from the co-curricular domain. We need to have a counselor. We need to have a special educator, health professionals, PTIs, and a representative from the school administration, and definitely the IT team or the admin team. Yes, definitely. As the teachers have beautifully written about the things, these are the members that will be required in the core learning team. So now it is also recommended to have a nodal person also in the school. Nodal person whom we can assign as a nodal person. Nodal person will be someone who will be unbiased and will reflect and share the feedbacks of our school, what things are working fine, what are not working fine, very bluntly. The person, nodal person, has to give feedbacks very bluntly. Then only our school will be able to improve. So now having these aforesaid members in the SQAAF teams are not enough. Why? Because these are the core learning teams who will be, who will be looking upon the things are working fine or not, but there must be some members who are under those core learning team, assisting them, assisting the core learning team members in creating their documents, in creating documents like policies, calendars, assessment plans, pedagogy strategies, etc., and helping them in collecting the evidences of SQAA. Evidences can be in the form of orientation that we did for the teachers, parents, students. It can be some annual functions. It can be, certificates that students earned in any competition or internships. Evidences can be in the form of the number of labs we have in our school, what are the number of system in a particular lab, and the list of these documents and evidences goes on. So these members, the focus groups, are the members who will be assisting the core learning team into collecting their documents and preparing their evidences. Okay, so once we are done with the formation of our team, with the core learning team and the focus groups, then we'll move ahead with setting up our timelines. In what time we'll be completing what part, and then only we'll be proceeding with the self-assessment. And moving ahead, the next part which comes over here is the action. Now, so by the time when we reach this action domain, we have to be sure that we are familiar with all the domains, subdomains, and the standards associated in SQAA. And then only we'll be able to divide the task among the core learning teams and the focus groups, because we need to see what these team members are specializing into. So to finally divide the task, we need to have a thorough knowledge about the domains, subdomains, and the standards of SQAA. Then only we'll be able to look and review. Then only we'll be able to look and review upon the existing practices in the school system. And we then, reflect whether we are aligned or not aligned with the SQAA. So after the deep review analysis of these things, we then, move ahead with identifying if we have any gaps in our systems. We then celebrate the strengths and we do align ourselves in prioritizing our work on the areas of improvements. So over here, the phase 3 comes is related to collation and the online self-assessment. Collation of documents and evidences, and these collation will be done with respect to the SQAAF team, focus groups, and the core learning team. And after the team have been collated with all the documents and evidences required, domain, subdomain, and standard wise, then it is suggested, now how we'll be collecting the documents and evidence. This is a question. So we all must have been through the SQAAF handbook, which was launched in April 2023. So in that SQAAF handbook, each and every document and each and every evidence that is required is mentioned. So the next step will be going to the CBSE website, CBSE SQAA website, and doing the self-assessment over there. So now how the self-assessment has to be done? It has to be done standard-wise. Now let's suppose there is domain 1, curriculum, and under this curriculum, there is subdomain 1.1, which is curriculum planning. And then there is a standard that teachers and principals are familiar with the spirit and content of NEP and NCF. This is a standard. So we have to do the self-assessment for this particular standard. There will be certain pointers written over it, and whatever we are following in our school, we'll take up on that part. Whatever we are not following, we will definitely not take. So once we are done with ticking on the particular standard, we will get a level after we save that. So the level can be 1, 2, 3, 4. Over here, 1 is the lowest level that we have received, and 4 is the highest level, that is dynamic evolving level. So this process will go on for each and every standard associated in SQAA. And we all know that there are 84 standards in SQAA. So for each of them 84 standards, we have to do the self-assessment, the ticking on the SQAA portal. So definitely after a very few slides, I'll be moving on to the CBSE, website, and will give you a little brief about how the self-assessment has to be done, and where we can generate our scorecards and score profile and everything. So we'll discuss it within a few slides. So before I end up this domain or the phase 3, that is self-assessment and collation of the documents, I would like to know from the audience whether you have initiated, filing your self-assessment or not. There can be some who are already done with the self-assessment, some may be in progress, some may be not initiated. And there can be some teachers who are actually not aware whether self-assessment is done or not. So would love. Okay, done. Yes, yes, good. What else? Is there anyone who have not initiated the self-assessment yet? Lovely. Everyone has done their self-assessment. So that's great because the deadline is very near. So it's good that we have done our self-assessment and submitted to the CBSE. But it doesn't, the thing doesn't end over here. We can see the phase 4 is still over there, which defines about the reflection and development of schools, action plan or the improvement plans. So after, completing the self-assessment for all the standards on the score, then we have to, identify the gaps into our school system. And accordingly, we have to prepare the improvement plan. And that too has to be submitted to the CBSE. The deadline for both the self-assessment and the submission of improvement plan, it is still 31st of December only this year. So, we have to develop the improvement plan now. This is the question. So till the time we reach on developing the improvement plan, we have already answered some of the questions to us. Now, what are those questions? Like, where are we now? What are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, and where we want to go? What is working in our systems? What is not working in our systems? And where do we want to be? So here, our main focus now stands is to answer that how we are going to get where we want to be. So to answer this question, firstly, we have to review our self-assessment report. After we are done with reviewing our self-assessment report, we'll be able to identify the gaps. We'll be able to, plan for making the improvement plans. We will then prioritize those areas as low, medium, high. Let's say as I discussed about the first standard that our principals and teachers are aware of NEP and NCF. And over there is one point in the self-assessment um, which is highlighting that parents have also been oriented for self-assessment. So this is a point. And I figured out that most of the school have not done any orientation for the parents under NEP and NCF. So this is again a very important section. If you have done all the points in that particular standard, but you have not oriented the parents for NEP and NCF, you are at level 1 only, if you are left with only 1 point. Okay, so orienting parents into your, the new strategies that are being brought by the CBSE or the national education policy, it is important to let parents also know what all new things are coming into the education system. So then we will be, whatever areas of improvements we have figured out, we will then prioritize them, prioritize as low, medium, and high. We'll then prepare their action plans as, associated with that particular improvement plan. We will have the timelines and we will, align, we'll give the task to the concerned team members that this is something, an improvement area that you have to work upon within this time period. So, like there are most of the teachers over here who have already done the self-assessment, but have you also done the improvement plan? Have you done or started with the improvement plan? Would like to know from the audience in the chat section. Is there anyone who have done the improvement plan also? Please write with a yes, no, no. Okay. So improvement plan is not done. Prerna ma'am is focusing upon it. Ms. Amritpal ma'am has not done. Okay. Working on it. Great. The ones who are working on it is absolutely good because this has to be, submitted by 31st. And the ones who are not working, then you guys have to, speed up with the things and initiate working upon it. So improvement plans making is very much important. So, if we are doing the self-assessment only and we are not preparing the improvement plan, the complete purpose of SQAA, the complete purpose of self-assessment is actually of no use. So it is suggested when we do the self-assessment, if we are done with the self-assessment of one standard, simultaneously we must prepare the improvement plans also so that we are, aligned with the things and everything can be done on time. So let's move ahead with the next phase, that is implementation of action plans and the improvement plans. So we are done with the self-assessment now. Okay, so we are done actually with having our team. We are done with dividing the task among them. We are done with the self-assessment. We have developed our improvement plans. And now the question comes is that we have to implement those improvement plans into our school's existing system. This is a very big task that we have to implement. We have to make certain changes into our existing systems. So, it will answer the question that the time we have invested in the development of improvement plans, that we are creating our improvement plans from a long time. We did the self-assessment and everything. So, are they making any difference in our system? So, we'll be able to answer when we'll finally figure out whatever we are implementing into our school system is adding any value or not. Okay, so now how these implementations can be done. So we have a deadline for each and every areas of improvement. We have the people associated who will be working upon this part. So we need to make sure that all the team members are, aligning with their deadlines. So after the area of improvement is implemented into our school system, we will again review to that particular area, whether it has created any good impact or the bad impact. And accordingly, if it is creating bad impact, that means then we have to, again revise our improvement plans, make changes, and then do the corrections accordingly and start implementing it again. And this complete cycle of improvement plans goes on. This is a complete process that has to go on. We're done with the self-assessment. We are making improvement plans. If anything is not working after we have started implementing, we'll then make the changes and this cycle will go on. This is a never-ending cycle. And definitely, we all know that every year we have to do, the SQAAF self-assessment and the improvement plan. So this SQAAF will be not ending. So, let's move ahead and see to the SQAAF self-assessment part. So I think, Kirti, can you switch the slide? Okay. So the pointers mentioned over here, I think we have already discussed them in a very brief that for doing the self-assessment, we need to do the ticking or the CBSE portal. We then have to prepare the documents, evidences, whatever are mentioned in the SCORE handbook. And the number of those documents are actually close to 1,500. And so based upon those self-assessment, we have to develop the improvement plans, and then we will be implementing those improvement plans into our systems. So now let's summarize it. So before SQAA, there were already many practices that that our school was following. But were having many orientation, we were having many competitions, many policies were already developed in our school, and so on the things are already going in our school because our school have been developed for years, but the SQAA has just came recently from last year only. So what changes have the SQAA bring? So again, I would like to interact with the audience over here. So what changes there have been with the SQAA into your school systems? Please use the chat section for this. What changes does the SQAAF have brought in your school systems? So is SQAAF bringing any changes? Please write in the chat section. So I believe the audience is taking SQAA as an additional responsibility. They are not taking it as a positive thing. So that's why they haven't figured out. Okay, we got the answers. Continuous improvement, a complete revisit. Okay. Anything else? Systems could have been there, but not penned down. Right. Paperwork too. Right. Things are going on, but we are not sure where it is and how it is going on. Assessing ourselves. Absolutely. Correct. So earlier, so I'll summarize this up with a few more additions to it. So earlier, we were analyzing our school. We know that but earlier the analysis that was done by our school leaders, was done by our management, or we used to call some external persons for the same. But now all the members of the school is involved as school learning team or the focus group, and everyone is involved into doing the assessment of the school. So earlier, which was external evaluation, is currently now the self-assessment. And earlier it was only related to the leaders and management of the school, but currently every member of the school, or not even the school, the students, parents, and other community members are involved into it. So we were somewhere sure about the practices we have in our school, but now what we whatever we have, we can say that we have a proof to it. As someone said in the chat section that they must be having some practices in the school, but they were not penned down, but now we have to pen it down also. So earlier we used to do some quick fixes into our system, but now we are trying to transform our whole school. So this is something. Now let's switch to the next slide and discuss about what SQAAR is, the School Quality Assessment and Assurance Report. So So this is the SQAAR, the School Quality Assessment and Assurance Report. This is basically a report, after we are done with evaluating our school, this report comes out. So for us, I think there is a two type of, SQAAR reports. First type is when we are done with ticking on the CBSE SQAAR portal, we do get a report where whatever pointers we have ticked is mentioned under it, and we do get a scorecard also. But the other type of report is like we are done with the self-assessment, then the CBSE team will be coming to our school, they'll be reviewing our self-assessment, they'll be checking out that whatever we have ticked in the self-assessment, I'm talking about the CBSE inspection over here, that whatever we have ticked under the self-assessment, do we have it in our school practices or not? Uh, it can be related to policy, it can be related to any sort of evidence, orientation, minutes of meeting, and so on. So whatever we have taken, do we have it? So this is also one of the type of report that CBSE gives to us. So how it comes after we are done with self-assessment, we do get a report which has mentioned all the domain-wise whatever levels we have achieved. Then we submit it to the CBSE, and we do identify the gaps and work upon our improvements. And in this process, after the complete submission of these things, a trained assessor of the CBSE visits our school. They come and see the things that whatever we have taken in the self-assessment, do we actually have that? And they do ask about the documents, they do ask about the evidences mentioned in the SQAAR handbook and mentioned in the SQAAR report. So then they'll be evaluating the things like the policies. They look upon the infrastructure audits. They see the feedbacks, calendars, assessment that we are doing in our school, and many more things are obviously there. So then after the complete evaluation by CBSE is done, they also give us a level or a score in each and every standard. So this after they are done with their evaluation, they'll be giving us a score, and then they'll give us a complete report, which will have that particular report will be standard wise, which will have the areas of our excellence. It will have the commendations as well as the recommendations for our improvement. So summarizing it, SQAAR is basically an important tool. This SQAAR report is a very important tool, or you can say it is a mirror actually for us, which will help our school understand that where we are currently standing, and how we can go better. So the next comes is the scoring process. Like scoring process, I would like to say it in this way that we all may know that when we do the self-assessment, we are getting a level like level 1, level 2, 3, and 4. So so wherever we are getting the level 1, this means we are at a very initial or an inceptive stage. Our system is very at an initial stage. And then if we are getting level 2 in any standard, this means that we have initiated implementing the policies into our system. We have only initiated that. In level 3, that is stable level, it means that we may have most of the supporting documents, we may have most of the policies, and we are following them into our school system. And our SQAAF team is also well versed about their roles and responsibilities, and they are doing their work independently. The level 4 dynamic evolving means this is actually the highest level in the score. It's, it's defined. Our systems are now completely defined, and whatever processes, SOPs that we have made in our school systems, they are getting followed. The leadership team also, along with the, concerned persons in the score, they are accountable and responsible for the school practices. Now, together, everyone is working upon their things, they are developing their things, implementing into the school system, identifying gaps, and then keeping a growth mindset and making sure that the school practices, that whatever changes we are bringing into our school practices are benefiting all the stakeholders, especially the students. So the score on the SQAAF is basically given on the level that we are attaining. So, and Kirti, can we switch to the next slide? So this is, basically we can see over here, there is, on the bottom, there is written that is 336, that is the maximum score that can be obtained. So after we get the, score of each and every standard, we then have to calculate at what percentage we are. So how we can calculate it? The maximums, it's a simple maths formula that we have to apply over here. The maximum score we can obtain over here is 336. And then we will be calculating it with the number of levels we have got in particular standards. And then we can calculate what percentage our school is. Now, like there are some schools who are residential, but there are some schools who are not non-residential. But in SCORE, there are, total 84 standards. Now, these 84 standards are actually for the residential school because they do are having the hostel part, they do are having the canteen part also. But there are certain practices which a school is not following. That is, some schools are non-residential, they don't have hostels, they don't have canteen facilities, they don't have transport facilities, and, some schools may not be having the early childhood facilities. So accordingly, the maximum score, that is 336, will be adjusted as per the domain which actually applies to you. So this score can be, downloaded from the CBSE website named as the scorecard. Um, So the score, after we are done with this score, we do get a school score profile. So after we done with the self-assessment, we submit to the CBSE, our school score profile is generated. So this, the report that we are getting, it consists of all the standards, subdomain, domain, and everything is involved over here, along with the percentage or the level we have in, attained into it. So this report will give our school a clear picture about our strengths and weaknesses and will help us to plan our improvements accordingly. Now, further, the main thing that it will help our school leaders to focus upon, the goal that needs improvement. So, would like to, if anyone is having any sort of questions, can please write it in the chat section. And in the meantime, I am switching to the CBSE SQAAF website to help you all understand some of the important things. So, Kirti, just a moment. I'll be switching up my screen.
Sure, ma'am, you can definitely take your time.
So, just a minute. I'm just logging to the CBSE side. Okay, so Kirti, I'm presenting my screen now. That's great. The principle from DPS that you are preparing 5 years plan. That's absolutely a very good initiative. Oh, that lovely. That's so lovely. A very good initiative, preparing the things for 5 years. But we do have to, keep analyzing the gap areas into it and improve to our, make our update our plans accordingly. So I believe my screen is visible to all. Kirti, please confirm.
No, ma'am, the screen is not yet visible. Okay,
You can stop
I
here.
can see the screen now.
Okay.
Uh,
So, okay. So, well, this is the CBSE score website where we first have to select the year. If we have done this self-assessment and last year, so this tab will be visible to us. And then let's see to the tab 2024. When we click on it, there is certain options like self-learning material, self-assessment, overall scorecard, and the self-improvement plan. I'm switching to the self-assessment part. And we all know that how the way it is divided, it basically has the curriculum, the domain name are written over here. And when we click on this continue button over here, the further subdomains are visible. We'll click on these subdomains, then there is a tree structure where we look upon the standards. So let's say we are picking this standard up. It has some tick pointers. Let's see some other. This is also having. Let's pick something that is not having any tick pointers. This is having. Okay, so here we can see this is some pointers that we haven't ticked. Now, after we are done with ticking these pointers on the self-assessment, we click on save, and after we click on save, a score will appear on our screen. We can see that we haven't ticked 1 point, and our school is at level 3 over here. So this is a complete format that standard by standard 84 standards we have to complete. But there are certain pointers as we were discussing about hostels, transport, canteens and early childhood care. So the domain 1.7 basically focuses upon early childhood care and education and foundational literacy and numeracy part. So if we are having this in our school, there is a yes no option first. If we are having, we'll click upon yes. After we click upon yes, then only the further domains and standards will be visible to us. We'll start clicking upon this, and after we done the save, again we'll be able to see the score that we have obtained. Now, after we're done with this complete part, we will then click upon the save and continue section, and this complete first domain, whatever the self assessment we have done, will be saved. So after this, let's see how basically this profile looks like. And I think there was a question at the very beginning related to can we see this our score report if we haven't submitted to the CBSE? Can we see the self assessment? So yes, definitely we can see that self assessment. Now, firstly, again there is an option to select the year. I've selected that, and to see that report before submitting to the CBSE, we have to go to the overall scorecard section. When switching to the overall scorecard section, this is the overall scorecard. And here are certain pointers mentioned: the self-assessment report, download Excel, and the dashboard. Self-assessment report, this is basically a scorecard sort of a thing where each and every standard will have the level that we have got into it. And if we click on the download Excel, this download Excel, by using this option download Excel, we can see all the pointers that we are, having. So I'll just show you how it looks like. So once this, this part is uploaded, we can see all the, in the Excel format, whatever pointers we have taken in the self-assessment, it will have the domains, subdomains, the level we got, all the pointers that we take can be generated through this scorecard option. Download Excel. Okay, and this is how our school profile looks like. This is the percentage. You can see a section that we were discussing. This is the level that we are getting, and here the weighted score obtained is basically the percentage. So as this self-assessment is not completely done, so here is the total percentage that we have got. Okay, so currently total applicable standards are 84 because the school has currently not marked, the pointers as yes and no. So once we are completely done with the things, so then it will be showing us the complete part. Okay, so this is something. Okay, beneficiary satisfaction, someone is saying to take on it. Let me try. If you have any specific question into that beneficiary section part, please let me know. Any particular standard or something you want to see? This is principal DPS. Anything specific under beneficiary satisfaction? Kirti, please let me know if she writes. So again, beneficiary satisfaction having 6 standards which involve parents, alumni, community, and all those things. So these standards are basically, or the subdomains, domains are completely as per what is mentioned in the SQAA handbook. So this is just an overview. If there is anything that anyone want to discuss till the time I'm logged in into the CBSE portal, please you can write it in the chat section. I'll try to take the answer. We created Google Form for all the stakeholders, but percentage of responses are very poor. Okay. So, ma'am, Google Form for like for the feedbacks, for collecting feedbacks, responses. Okay. It do happen that the parents might take time because this score is a very new practice for everyone involved. So it will definitely take time for all the stakeholders involved to finally adjust into the systems. But later on in a year or two, the things will be aligned in a very beautiful manner, and then we'll be able to see the progress also. We can definitely, if we have the parent member, we are trying to take the feedbacks from the parents. We can definitely keep our the forms so elaborative that even if for 2 or 3 people are answering, we are getting a good feedback from them. Whatever pointers we want to cover, we are covering that part. It happen that it is new thing for us also. It is new thing for the students, parents, alumni, and the community members also. So this will definitely take a little time, but whatever responses we have received, we can try to create a report out of from it. So we were talking a lot about the improvement plan, so let's see what exactly it is. So we have to prepare the improvement plan for each and every standard. So how? Submit improvement plan is the option. Let me just try for the infrastructure part. So this is the domain infrastructure. It has various subdomains. It mentioned over here. So we are taking for domain 1. Then it has further 5 standards. Any for whatever we want to make this improvement plan, we click that. Level of maturity, this is level 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the level of maturity over here. Aspirational level, let's suppose we are the level we got in the self-assessment is 2 in this particular standard. So our aspirational level definitely will be more, 3 or 4. And if we are at level 4, so definitely we will try to be at level 4 only. So here our aspirational level will be 4. Area of improvement will be all the pointers that we have to finally mention into our reports. Like let's suppose we are not having the bulletin boards into our classroom, we are not having uh, you know the smart boards into our classroom, so that can be the area of improvement. And area of improvement can definitely be we can find it out from the self assessment pointers also. Prioritized area, low, medium, high, whatever priority we are keeping for that improvement. Proposed action, what all steps we'll be taking to improve that particular point. This is the team members who all are involved in making this complete thing, and the timeline for the completion. After we are done with these things, we will save and continue, and this part will go on for each and every standard in the score. Okay. So any questions, anything anyone would like to ask about, please write it in the chat section. like anything from the audience, any sort of discussion related to the preparation of improvement plans or anything, please let me know. So the format is same. It is also mentioned in the SQAAF handbook, and we can definitely move ahead to prepare it if we are not initiated this part. So Kirti, I think you can start sharing your screen. I'm stopping mine. So please, if you can switch to the next slide, which talks about the documents. Yeah. So here, this is a complete list of documents, whichever is required in all the 7 domains of the SQAAF. We have already, seen the pointers. We have discussed about the documents. We have discussed about evidences and everything. We know what we have marked in our self-assessment report. And the screen is basically a glimpses of all the number of and the total number of documents needed in the score. As we can see in domain 1, there are 500 plus documents. In domain 2, around 350 documents. Domain 3 having 170 plus documents, and so on. The 1500 lot of document is divided into various subdomains. So these number of documents, basically, what are they? There is a very big number they are written over here. So what these numbers, or what are the documents or evidences needed? So these documents are basically a mixture of policies, ACPPs, the annual curriculum and pedagogical plan. The orientation details happen for our teachers, students, parents, community, and all. The certificates for our teachers, for our students, and anything our students earned, any sort of certificate, or award our students earned in competitions, or uh, in the internships. So competitions can be at the district, state, national, international level, and the minutes of meetings, calendars, pedagogical strategies, assessment practices, curriculum designs, and there's a very big list of these 1500 documents. So if we move to the next slide, there is this slide is having a list of Kirti, if you can switch. This slide is basically a list of all the documents that we need to have under domain 4. The number of documents is written over here, and we are currently focusing upon the domain 3.2, that is parents. So here we can see the documents required are actually divided into level wise. So here we can see a number of documents like counseling records is there, school policy or inclusive of student resources is there. There are many school calendars, processes of selecting a student council, and school magazine, photo galleries, improvement plans, definitely, monitoring, mentoring, and reviewing practices, and anecdotal records and everything. This is a list of documents specifically for the domain 2, that is parents. There are 24 documents over here. So this is something that needs to be prepared if we are taking everything under the domain, this particular standard. Okay, so if continuously saying, if you have any sort of question, please do write in the chat section. And Kirti, let's move to the next slide. So over here, this is a question. Would love to have your answers. What is the primary purpose of SQAAF self-assessment and CBSE inspection process? Now, what is it? Is it compliance? It is improvement, evaluation, documentation, or is it all? Please, do write in the chat section whatever you feel like SQAAF self-assessment and CBSE inspection is. Okay, all, okay, all, right, all, okay, okay. Absolutely. Accountability and progress plan, all. Definitely, everyone. It is all. The purpose of SQAAF self-assessment and CBSE inspection is all that is, it is a compliance. It has to be done at any cost. It is for a school improvement. It is for own evaluations, and definitely to keep all the documents and evidences aligned, documented. This is needed for that also. So, like, let's see, why an effective approach matters. So an effective approach is very, very, very important. Maybe currently we are doing because it is a compliance by CBSE. This can be, at an initial stage we can think of it, but the bigger goal is to build a culture of excellence in our school. So SQAAF do promote, as the pointers mentioned over here, first is about the continuous improvement. So SQAAF do promote continuous improvement. It provides a clear roadmap for schools to, regularly evaluate and enhance their practices across all the domain areas, ensuring that, we all are, aligned and we are evolving with our educational needs and standards. Second part is it fosters the self-reflection and accountability. So definitely schools are encouraged to assess themselves honestly. They need to identify their growth areas. They need to take the ownership on, developing and implementing their implement improvement journey. So this not only build the trust among the stakeholders, that is the parents, community, alumni, and all, but it also, give them that we are definitely an ever evolving and a growing thing, school. So the third one, it benefits students. Definitely, it do. Scope main focus is to enhance the learning experiences of the students to make sure about the learning outcomes. So by improving curriculums, teaching methods, infrastructure, the human resource part, by taking feedbacks and the beneficiary satisfaction, by having inclusivity for all the students. So it creates an environment where every student is excelling in their academics, uh, socially also, emotionally also. So finally, the next point, it strengthens the school community. So through collaboration and engagement with parents, teachers, students, alumni, even the local community, COOF builds up a strong support system. It ensures, as I previously said, that this is the COOF wants that education is not only the responsibility of school, teachers, and principal, but it is a shared responsibility for all the stakeholders involved. So let's move ahead. There is a case study. So case study for enhancing educational quality through schools, SQAAF self-assessment. So there is a case study written over here. Greenwood International Academy, a mid-sized CBSE affiliated school known for its commitment to academic excellence, realized the need to undertake the SQAAF self-assessment process to improve its educational quality and align with regulatory standards. The school faced challenges in maintaining consistent high standards and needed a structured approach to identify strengths and address gaps. So one significant issue was the format and storage of required documentation and the implementation of improvement plan. Absolutely. There are, as we already discussed, there are 1500 plus documents. So the main challenge is where we store these documents, where we store that at the time of inspection. We, if CBSE asks us to have this policy, we right away give them this policy. So how to store these things properly and how to implement these improvement plans. So let's switch to the next slide and see what the outcome says. So here's the gap analysis, which defines the solution and the implementation. So solution basically says that to meet the requirements, school initiated a detailed self-assessment on the SCORE portal that we know that we all have to do, and ensuring it meets all the necessary criteria, whatever that particular school is following. So this step included definitely collecting out all the documents and the evidences for all the 1500 things and whatever is mentioned in the SCORE handbook. So, however, the school faced difficulties in organizing those documents in a correct format. Because you need to know the format also if you are making a policy or a calendar or any sort of M1s or anything you are making. You need to have you need to know about the what is the correct format of making this and what will be the correct place of storing this. So to address this, the school adopted a digital tool and created a centralized storage system that streamlined document management and maintained the accessibility for all the involved members. So here the implementation talks about that the school leaders coordinated with the teachers and administrative staff. They gathered the document and complete the self-assessment accordingly. They ensured that all the relevant criteria, all the relevant standards are met, and evidence that is needed are thoroughly collected and compiled. So a major focus was placed on standardizing those document formats to meet the SQAAF requirements. So the school implemented a digital repository with categorized folders for each criteria, which simplified the storage and retrieval process. The improvement plan was developed collaboratively, focusing on areas of development and setting timelines for progress. Definitely, this with the digital tech solutions, will be definitely able to align the things very seamlessly and properly. Let's move ahead and look upon the outcome and the conclusion for this case study. So the outcome over here is that through the self-assessment and CBSE inspection preparation, Greenwood International Academy achieved improved transparency, accountability, and ongoing self-improvement. So the standardized document storage boosted efficiency, leading to better performance, enhanced student outcomes, and increased staff collaboration. So this commitment to growth strengthened the school reputation and boosted a positive learning environment. Finally, we conclude the statement that the SQAAF self-assessment and CBSE inspection process proved to be a transformative strategy for Greenwood International Academy, and definitely it is a transformative strategy for us all. So, turning out a regulatory compliance into an opportunity for meaningful progress. So, by embracing self reflection, tackling challenges related to document management, fostering accountability, the school not only met the required standard, but they also created a sustainable culture of excellence, ultimately benefiting both students and the broader school community. So definitely, the main goal of SCORE is to involve all the stakeholders. So this can be done through these sort of practices only. That we are taking their feedbacks, valuing their feedbacks, and finally implementing it into our systems. So let's move ahead. So question answers.
Okay, so ma'am, should I read out the questions for you?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay, so Ms. Prerna Prasad ma'am has asked, can we generate the final assessment reports without submitting finally on the CBSE portal?
Yes, as I have taken this point already, that on when we on the CBSE score portal, there are four options when we select a year. When we click on the year 2024, we get certain options, and over there is an option for overall scorecard. We go to click on the overall scorecard, and then there is an option for download Excel. So when we go to download Excel, whatever things we have saved into our systems, we get that particular self-assessment report before submitting to the CBSE in an Excel format, not in the PDF but in an Excel format.
Okay. So she has asked one more question. The
Mhm.
documents available there on Luneblaze portal is of previous year for their school.
Okay, so the documents available on the Luneblaze portal is actually not year-wise. See, as I discussed about certain documents, that is policies or calendars or these sort of things. So if I talk about policy part, so policy is a sort of document which needs to be made once, and like it is there for years. We don't need to create the policy every year. So policy stays for long years. So finally concluding that the portal So concluding this part that the documents that we have on the Loonblaze portal, they are, all updated with the latest year thing. Okay, you can definitely, upload your things into and on the Loonblaze portal update the evidences year-wise. So this year you are updating the evidences for this year, and upcoming year you will update the evidences accordingly. So this is how it will work like. So everything will be available to us on the Luneblaze portal, but you need to understand that the things don't change too frequently, such as policies, calendars, curriculum plans, and all these things. They do get revised, every at the beginning of every academic year. Yes, ma'am. If we have got, level four, so we definitely have to, our aspirational will be definitely to get level four again. So here our aspirational level will be four only. Same, dynamic evolving. So, Kirti, any other questions?
Um, Actually, ma'am, we are a little short on time, and respecting that, we can take up the remaining questions in the concluding Q&A session. So, can
Sure.
we proceed? Okay.
Yeah, we can. Can you switch the slide? Okay, so finally the conclusion. The SQAAF self-assessment and CBSE inspection process is essential for fostering continuous improvement and educational excellence in schools. So by embracing this structured approach, schools can enhance accountability, strengthen their practices, and ultimately provide better learning outcomes for their students. It is very rightly said that SQAAF is not only just a framework, it is a very powerful tool to help the school improve and grow. It focuses on making education better for everyone, everyone over here, like students, teachers, parents, and the community members. So, by encouraging self-reflection, continuous improvement, and collaboration, SCOP do ensure that the schools create an environment where every child can learn and grow. So, it strengthens the connection between schools and other communities, helping to shape the future where education is not only a responsibility for the school authorities, but it is a shared responsibility for all the stakeholders. So let's go ahead. Okay, we all know that SQAAF is mandatory. Every year it has to be submitted from the time period of April 1st to 31st of December, and now we are left with only around 10 days. So who is this SQAAF for? It is for all the CBSE schools when to submit every year, April 1st to 31st December. Where to submit? On the CBSE SQAAF portal. We can access this SQAAF portal by either our OSS password or through the OTP on the Siksha email ID. What to submit? We have to submit the self-assessment along with the improvement plans. What should schools be prepared for? Schools have to be prepared for the documents and evidences, whatever they have said that they are following in the school in the self-assessment report. Schools must be prepared with that. How will inspection occur? A peer assessor team of the CBSE will be visiting our school for the inspection part. What's next? So over here, like CBSE inspection, how CBSE inspections are conducted? It's conducted on three ways. Either it is on the random basis or it is on the school's demand. And maybe it can be conducted at the time of granting extension of affiliation to the schools. So the purpose is to promote the self-improvement among the school members. Focus is to be process-oriented. Duration is continuous and ongoing. Target group is definitely the CBSE schools, and all the schools who are aspiring to be the CBSE school are also a target. And the descriptors provide detailed improvement descriptors. It's been divided into different standards. We have to support that the self-assessment tools and all the school capacity building programs and everything. Assessment. These assessments are done through the self-assessment reports that we have submitted to the CBSE, and definitely the peer mentors who will be coming for the inspection, they will also be assessing ourselves. Next is the outcome. The outcome is basically the one that I'm saying again and again that this through this CBSE inspection, through this scope, the main outcome is that education is a shared responsibility, or quality education is a shared responsibility for all. So the main goal is to that schools do keep on doing continuous improvement, and they do have a continuous growth. So next comes, I think, the CBSE circular, which came on 15th of May, which highlights that the CBSE is mandatory for all the CBSE, the SQAAF is mandatory for all the CBSE schools. If we are planning to, further extend our extensions from CBSE, or extend our affiliations from CBSE, or if we are planning to, we are not a CBSE school, but we are planning to be a CBSE school, then also we have to do the self-assessment. So it is mandatory to do the self-assessment and the improvement plan, both the things from this year. It is very mandatory. So the ones who have not initiated this, I would suggest you can please initiate it as soon as possible, because we are left with very short of time. So I think after this, I'll be handing over to Priyanka to take the thing ahead and brief a little about the Luneblaze to the all members.
Thank you so much, Smriti ma'am, for this interactive and wonderful session. And I hope everyone is clear about the SQAAF process and the online self-assessment. And as she has already briefed about the requirement of improvement plan for the self-assessment and the documents and evidence for inspection, now we will be providing an overview of how Luneblaze can assist schools with all these documentation, policies, and improvement plans. So firstly, let's have an overview of Luneblaze. So Luneblaze has 8+ years of experience in accreditation. Previously, we were helping colleges with NAC, NBI, and IRF. And now we are also supporting schools with the SQAAF implementation by offering a comprehensive end-to-end solution for accreditation and assessment. We at Luneblaze help schools efficiently organize and manage the SQAAF data, including various documents, policies such as curriculum and calendars, and evidence for events like competitions, workshops, and orientation, etc. Now let's look in depth at how Luneblaze can assist schools. So here we have pre-built documents. So we offer pre-framed 1500 plus pre-framed documents, policies, and sample evidence materials such as awards and certificates, and also the improvement plans. Evidence storage, Luneblaze provides a platform where we can store all the evidences, be it related to annual functions or competitions, workshops, orientations, etc. And we all know that managing tasks and meeting deadlines can be challenging. So here with Luneblaze's workflow management system, we can assign the task or a particular domain to the respective teacher, and we can also set deadlines for them to monitor their progress and ensure timely completion. Next, we do support 24/7 consultancy support. We do provide 24/7 consultancy support via mail, call, and WhatsApp whenever required. Monthly training session. Luneblaze provides training sessions every month led by our SQAAF experts, advisors, designed to improve faculty knowledge and application of SQAAF standards. And SQAAF assessments report filing. We support schools with the annual SQAAF filing on the CBSE portal, where we guide schools through the do's and don'ts of the self-assessment and ensuring that the evaluation is honest and constructive, not just a checklist exercise. We also help schools in auditing the required SQAAF documents. At last, regular review meetings. We conduct these meetings to share the SQAAF updates, new features, and to check on the progress made so far, which help us stay aligned and identify any areas of for improvement. Now, to provide a practical overview of how Luneblaze can help schools with all these documentation and workflow management, we will now take you to the Luneblaze portal, where we'll be presenting all the documents required for SQAAF and how a school can manage their documents and evidences. So I'm sharing my screen. So first we have to go to the luneblazeportal.com, and then we have to enter the credentials. After logging, we can see the dashboard over here. I hope everyone can see my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, Priyanka, your screen is perfectly visible.
Okay, so once you log in, so this is the Luneblaze dashboard where we have few options. This is for SQAAF. Like once we click on SQAAF, we'll get access to all the documents and policies. Here are some quick links. So firstly, we'll be briefing about the workflow management. Then we'll take you to the documents and policies. So for the workflow management, we have to go to the manage account. And here we have some options. So from here, we go to workflow management. And here we have to enter the details of a particular teacher. Let's suppose I'm adding this one to which we would like to assign the domain. So click on SQAAF and then we'll get an option of SQAAF. So here we have to click on SQAAF. Here we have all the 7 domains. Now, whatever we would like to assign to this teacher, we just have to click on that. Suppose we would like to assign the infrastructure part. Even if we want to assign a particular standard or a single subdomain, then we can do that as well. Once we click on infrastructure, we'll get all the subdomains. And under that, we have all the standards as well. So after assigning, we need to click on Save Changes. Once we are done with that, we can see here to Miss Akriti, infrastructure has assigned. Now we'll take you to the Luneblaze portal. Again here on the dashboard, now we'll go to the documents. So once we click on SQAAF, we'll get this form. So this form is for 2024 to 2025. Now we go to update option. Once we click here, we'll be able to see this page where we have all the domains, all the 7 domains and further subdomains. So this is the first domain, curricular pedagogy and assessment. So here 526 is written over here. That means this particular domain contains 526 documents. And in infrastructure, we have 360 documents, and human resource, we have 176 and so on. So if we go to 1.1 subdomain curriculum planning, here we have few standards, and under each standard, we require some documents. So this is the very first document, school curricular, pedagogical and assessment policy for each stage as per new curricular and pedagogical structure. So if we contate, it will take us to the policy. So this is the pre-frame policy that we have provided. So once we click over here on the maximize option, so this is the framework that we have provided. It basically contains the curricular philosophy, pedagogical approaches, and assessment practices for each stage 5334. And this is totally editable. So now what we have to do, we have to go through this policy that we have already provided over here, and we have to make the required changes. Suppose we are not following a certain point like this one, digital literacy and 21st century skills will be promoted. So if we are not following this one in the school, then we can simply remove this one. And if we are following something else, then we can add that one. So that is totally editable. So after this, we have additional policies and the conclusion of the policy. So now, after reviewing this policy and make the changes, we can just save. And if we want to download, we can download that as well, and it is good to go. Now, if we move on to the next document, it's the minutes of departmental meetings reflecting the discussion on NCF, position paper, NCRT, and NEP. So let me maximize it. So here is the pre-frame document. Here we have to do the same thing. We have to go through it and make the required changes like the date, the time, the location, the list of the attendees. We have to enter over here of all the teachers. And here we have provided the agenda, the minutes, opening remarks, presentation on NCF and NEP. Here we have to edit the name of the representative, and the content is already there. The discussion on position paper, NCRT, NEP implementation strategies. Again, we need to enter the name of the presenter. In action items, we have to, whatever action we are taking and who will be responsible for that department. So we have to enter the name of that person over here. Timeline for implementation, closing remarks, next meeting, then the meeting adjourned and meeting prepared by which teacher. So we have to edit these details. And apart from these things, we need to make sure that we are adding images, geotagged images for the evidence as well that this thing has been happened in our school. So for that, we are uploading the images over here. So here for the sample, we have provided some images that shows that this particular minute of meeting has been done in the school. And once we have finalized this document, we can just save this one, and we are good to go with this as well. And same thing goes on for the next documents, orientation programs on NCF and NEP. We have to edit all the details, whatever is required. And then again, we have to add the images for this as well. Then we have the school calendar. We already have the school calendar, so we can upload it from here, from the choose file option. We can upload the school calendar over here. And of the textbook and study materials, we have provided a framework. We can edit this one, or if we have it in the PDF format, then we can upload it as well. So this is the basically overview of the documents that we have provided. So here we have all the 1500 plus, in total 1536 documents here. So if anyone would like me to open any particular document or policy, please let me know. I can please write it down in the chat box. I'll open that policy. Kirti, please let me know if anyone wants to like open a particular policy.
Um, can we showcase the payment management and governance?
Management and governance, yes. Here is it's the fifth domain, management and governance. In the first standard, very first standard, we have the school management and governance policy over here on the view option. It will take us to this policy, and now let me maximize it. So here is the overview of this policy. We have the introduction, we have the mission and vision of the school, we have the governance structure, board of governance, school leadership team, standard operating procedures, development of SOPs, approval of SOPs. Then we have implementation of SOPs, monitoring and evaluation, roles and responsibility of board of governance, school leadership team, and school personnel, and then the conclusion part of the policy. So this is the school management and governance policy.
Okay, so
Yes.
Ms. Priyanka, can we showcase the documents for the domain 7, beneficiary satisfaction?
Yeah, sure. So this is the domain 7 beneficiary satisfaction. Here in first subdomains, satisfaction of students, we have around 16 documents. So this is the school beneficiary satisfaction policy, inclusive of student satisfaction. Let me open this one. Let me maximize it. So here is the introduction part, the purpose of the policy. Here is the responsibilities of school administrator and faculty and staff and student as well. Assessment of student satisfaction we have, analysis and action, reporting, confidentiality, review and revision, then the conclusion part and the name and the signature of the. So this is about the school beneficiary satisfaction policy. So anything else? Any other document?
Okay, Ms. Priyanka, can you showcase the documents for domain 6 also, the leadership domain?
Leadership. Okay. Domain 6 is the leadership. Here in this domain, we have three subdomains. So first one is the pedagogical leadership, then collaborative leadership, and then systems for ongoing quality and change system. So here is the 6.1.1. We have the school leadership policy. So let me open this one. So here is the introduction of the policy. vision of pedagogical leadership, responsibilities of the school leader, professional development, curriculum development, and data driven decision making. It contains instructional leadership, building intellectual and professional capital, accountability and evaluation is there, continuous improvement. We have to recognize that leadership process is going on, and then we have to do some improvements. So we have to mention it over here. So this is about the leadership policy. Any other document? Kirti, yes, please.
No, there are no such requests for any other documents. We can proceed further.
Okay. So this is basically how we can organize or manage all the 1500 plus documents and evidence at one place. You can also explore our portal by creating a demo account. So first, let me log out. I'll show the steps how we can create a demo account. So first we have to browse the luneblazeportal.com. Then here we have to click the start your accreditation journey. Then here we can see sign up for demo account. We have to click over here and we have to enter these details like the institution name, email, the password, confirm password, country code, phone number, institutional type school, and the address. We can upload the logo as well and then submit. Then we can explore the Luneblaze portal, where you will be able to access only the first subdomain of domain one, that is 1.1 curriculum planning. You'll be able to access the documents of that particular subdomain, and this portal, or sorry, this account will only be active for 7 days. And we are providing the link as well in the chat box so that you can create the demo account. And we are also presenting the QR code on the screen. You can scan through that QR code and create your own portal, sorry, on your own account. Kirti, can you please move on to the next slide? Yes, here is the QR code. I hope it is visible to everyone. So you can scan this QR code and can create your account. And here we have provided the details of the Luneblaze portal. Like we have to go to the Luneblaze portal, then sign, click on the demo account, then follow the further steps. So next, if we talk about if we move ahead, we are incredibly proud to share that we are currently supporting over 100 plus schools on their SQAAF journey. And among these are renowned institutions like GD Goenka, Evergreen Public School, DPS, and many more, both in India and internationally, including Elaine Junior Schools and Indian language schools, etc. And we are excited to continue this journey and look forward to assisting you on your SQAAF journey, helping your institution achieve its goals and with the same dedication and excellence. For more detailed information, or if you'd like a personalized demonstration of our product, please feel free to contact us on the number mentioned below. Our team will surely assist you. Thank you all for joining us today. And now,
Thank you very much, Ms. Smriti and Ms. Priyanka, for such a wonderful explanation about the assistance provided by Luneblaze to schools in their SCORE implementation journey. Moving further, we at Luneblaze are dedicated to fostering learning and growth, and our webinar series are a key part of that mission. As you all can see here, we have been organizing the SCORE monthly training sessions starting from April. And in the month of January, we will be organizing another SCORE session on the first two SCORE phases, that is planning and action processes. Having said that, let's move further with the concluding Q&A session so that all your questions asked are answered well. And please keep dropping all your questions in the chat box and we will be happy to answer. So, Ms. Priti, can I read out the questions?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, so Miss Prabhati Gupta and Mr. Deepratim Mukherjee were asking that kindly share the list of documents required for domain 7.
So to both of them, the list of all the documents required for domain 7 is mentioned under the SQAAF handbook. You can refer to it. It's available online. So over there under domain 7, whatever documents is needed, be it policies or evidences, you can find a list of documents over there. And if you need any sort of assistance in preparing those documents, you can connect with Luneblaze.
Okay, so one more question is there. Someone with the name Principal DPS has asked, can we get a set of pre-bill documents?
Definitely, ma'am, to explore our services, we have a demo account. You can have a look over it. You will be able to review the domain, subdomain 1.1 curriculum planning, and you can access those documents. And if you need to have all the documents, the 1500 documents needed in SCORE, and then you can connect on the email ID mentioned and you can reach out to the Loonblaze team for the same.
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am, for the wonderful answer. And I think we have covered most of the questions.
Okay.
Um,
We have something in the chat section. Ms. Manpreet is asking, will action plan include achieving the targets that we don't tick? Well, the area of improvements will be including those, the pointers that we have not ticked. And for achieving those pointers, for achieving those, improvement areas, what are the actions we are taking? Let's suppose we have not oriented the parents. So are we going to orient them? If yes, who will be orienting, the team name, the deadline, everything has to be mentioned in front of it. So there are, a set of format that has to be maintained. So for now, we have to submit self-assessment and the improvement plan. For improvement plan, there is a complete format you can see on the CBSE website or on the SCORE handbook. Area of improvement and action plan, both are different things and both have to be submitted. Okay, so Ms. Shilpa is asking that there seems to be a duplication of documents and evidences under various sections of the same domain. So we are supposed to upload the same document at various points. Okay, so ma'am, over here that as we all know, these are divided into different sections, the documents and the evidences. If I talk about document, that is policy. Let's suppose the health and wellness policy, it is repeating at least around 10 places in the SCORE handbook in the same domain as well as in different domains also. So we need to have a complete one consolidated policy where, we have covered all the pointers, and this is the best way to maintain the policy. And similarly, the ACPPs, the curriculum plans, pedagogical strategies, teachers diary, and all these sort of documents also are repeating multiple times. So we have to make sure that these documents are like they are created in a way that this is a one set of documents which is highlighting all the pointers. And if I talk about evidences, so MOMs, orientation meetings, CBPs and all, so these sort of things are something that we need to have separate evidences, separate MOMs, separate images to support those documents. So policies can be same, but evidences have to be different.
okay, ma'am. There is one more question
Yeah.
by Mr. Manpreet Chavla.
Yeah.
What will come under the heading maturity level?
So maturity level, see, we are doing the self-assessment. Now, let's suppose under the standard 1.1.1, we got the maturity level 4. So over here, the maturity level under, under while submitting the improvement plan, the maturity level will be the 4. And next is the for you can say the next comes the aspirational level. So over there, aspirational level will also be 4 because this is the best way. If we are at the best level, we wish to stay at the best level. For level 4, what can be the improvement? So definitely, if see, there are certain pointers that we need to finally check out. There, there's a, let's suppose there is a pointer that we have oriented our teachers on NEP and NCF. Now, let's suppose we have only oriented them on NEP part, but NCF part we have not oriented them yet. So that will be our area of improvement. What else can be the area of improvement if we are at level 4? The pedagogy strategies. We do have certain pedagogy strategies, but we feel like it needs some improvement. We are taking the feedbacks. You see, the existing practices that we have in our school, we do have it, but we feel like that it can be improved. So that is something that needs to be mentioned under level 4, if we are at level 4 in any sort of standard. So hope I'm clear to Miss Manpreet and Prerna. Please let me know if any sort of discussion. Yeah, welcome. Well, it's suggested that there is a scope of improvement even if we are at level 4. So we must try to add something, even not if, many pointers, but something must be there if we are at level 4. Okay, we can't say that, we don't have anything to achieve in the infrastructure, anything to achieve in the curriculum planning part. There must be some pointers, and then we have to do a deep research and deep into our existing practices. Then only we'll be able to figure it out. So we do have to mention every, the improvement plan, even if we are at level 4. There must be some practices which needs improvement. We can mention about that. CBSE have not suggested that you don't have to submit a improvement plan if you are at level 4. From level 1 to 4, we have to submit the improvement plans at all.
Okay, so Miss Prerna, ma'am, do you have any other questions? Okay, so I think we have covered most of the all the questions, and moving ahead. Concluding the session, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks once again to Ms. Priti for leading this fantastic session. And we have all learned a lot. And your insights on score, self-assessment, and CBSE inspection were really very valuable for all of us. Special thanks to all of you for your active participation and involvement. Your engagement truly made the session very lively and enhanced. Hope all your questions and queries regarding the SQAA self-assessment process must have been answered. And we regularly host such sessions on SQAA, covering the various topics and domains for SQAA. And we would be honored to have you all join us for those as well. Lastly, let me inform you that we will be sharing the feedback form link during the session only, and no link for the feedback form will be shared after the session concludes. And the participation certificates will be given based on your responses within one upcoming week. Thank you in advance for your wonderful feedback. Thanks a lot, everyone. Best wishes for your journey through SCORE self-assessment and inspection process. We look forward to welcoming you again in the upcoming session on SCORE. Wishing you a wonderful weekend. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you have a lovely evening ahead.